Let's cross to Doha, where we're going to speak to Michael Doran, who's a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute. He specializes in Middle East security issues. So, Michael, we're sort of all over the place here. There's a lot of topics that are going to be on this agenda. I want to touch on probably one of the issues that's more pertinent to your area of expertise, which is Middle East security issues. How critical is a resolution on the issue of the S-400s to the NATO alliance and security in the region?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. I mean, it's critical to resolving the tensions between the United States and Turkey. As your reporters very ably explained, Donald Trump is really up against a lot of opposition, both within the government and on Capitol Hill. He's really the main, he's the locus of the effort to try to improve relations with Turkey. And this S-400 issue, I think, is central to it all because of the sanctions that will be placed on, that Congress could place on Turkey if they go ahead with the relationship with Russia. My fear, as somebody who believes that the U.S.-Turkish relationship is important for American national security and for stability in the Middle East, my fear is that the president will have a veto-proof sanction resolution crammed down his throat by Congress if we're not careful here. My hope is that we can find a deal that will allow the Turks to back away from the S-400.
One of the issues that we actually haven't touched on up until this point, Michael, is Turkey is now wanting to, they've already started actually repatriating Daesh fighters. We've seen some opposition to that. Where does the responsibility lie with these countries in taking back Daesh, or as a lot of the international media refers to it, ISIS fighters back to their home countries, these fighters that have been stripped of their citizenship?
Yeah, I mean, there's no good answer to that question because nobody wants to touch it. So this is one of those issues that is just going to fester for a long time. I don't think it's the key issue here, and I think Turkey is making a point to Europe and to the United States that it's had this horrible problem on its border, a national security problem, a humanitarian problem, a terrorism problem, and its desired framework for solving these problems has received no sympathy in Europe. Or very little sympathy, I would say, and people are happy to have Turkey just sort these things out itself. And I think President Erdogan is trying to send signals to the international community that we have to find a mutual path forward. Obviously, there's no easy solution to it, though.
Michael, what would be the best case scenario of what comes out of this meeting between President Trump and President Erdogan? They are going to be holding a press conference in a little bit from now where we'll be hearing a little bit about the issues that they've discussed and sort of the progress that they've made. But what would be sort of the ideal outcome of this meeting, given the strained relationship that we've seen over the past few years between the United States and Turkey?
I think the ideal outcome is a recognition on the part of both President Trump and President Erdogan that the U.S.-Turkish relationship is too important for both sides to allow it to deteriorate further. I don't think all of the issues, these very thorny issues that separate the two of us at the moment, can be solved in one summit. But we can come to a conclusion that there's goodwill on both sides and a kind of a path forward and a recognition on the part of Turkey that its security problems are best solved within an American framework rather than a Russian framework, and that the United States is very interested in building a framework that will meet Turkey's needs. I think all of that is possible, but there's, as your reporters have shown, shown, there are a lot of forces working against that.
All right. Well, Michael Hudson, we will leave it on that, or I apologize, Michael Doran, we will leave it on that semi-optimistic note. Really appreciate you being with us.